Hello, my sisters, and welcome to October. This is your opening video for Magical Sabbatical. Every month I offer just a 10-minute, really quick introduction and overview to share with you, to highlight for you, and maybe to frame up for you what I see as the dominant energies or the dominant work of the month ahead. And you know, this month, I think most of us can agree, really, is the most magical month of the entire year. There's something reassuring, especially if you have always felt different all your life, which I have, and I know a lot of us have. There's something unique and special about the fact that most people acknowledge the reality of a spirit world in October. You know, we have Halloween, and we sort of have the commercial side that makes people feel like it's acceptable for a minute to talk about magic, to talk about energy, to talk about spirit guides, to talk about ancestors, to talk about the veil. But all of that is very real. Those energies are very real. And so I want to invite you first to become really conscious of what you might be sensing, especially if you're an empath, you might be taking it on as your own. You know, you might be sensing spirits crossing the threshold. You might be sensing your ancestors a little more available or present around you. You might be sensing contact from people in your life that you lost this year. You might be picking up on messages for other people. You got to remember the way energy works is just sort of like frequencies, vibrations in the field. And as an empath, it's like we send out all these little feelers and we're picking up information all the time. It's not always for us. So that's the other trick, right? Is it's sort of like how do you really know if what you're discerning is a message for you? So one of the things we're going to be doing, our full moon ritual is early this month. It's Thursday of this week. And one of the things we're going to be doing in that ritual as we work with ancestors, as we work with spirit guides, as we work with the higher self, because that's the focus, right? One of the things we're going to be doing is practicing the skill, the art, I would say, of discernment. What energy is yours and what needs to be sent back to its source? What messages are for you and what messages are you perhaps channeling for someone that you know or a client of yours? I mean, that happens frequently to me, and I've gotten good over the years by necessity, I should tell you. I mean, it's not like I have a special gift that you don't have. It just by necessity, I realized early that if I was going to channel all this information, I also had to have the wisdom and the discernment to be able to understand and parse through, like, okay, this is for me, but this is for somebody else. And then it's also another gift of discernment to know when to share it. I've gone to people and said, I think this message is coming through. I think it's for you. I think it means this. And I've had people say, you know, I'm not ready for that, or I'm not sure that's mine. So in my practice now, I wait until people ask. Unless I'm getting this like push from spirit, which does happen sometimes, like, no, go tell this person. It doesn't happen to me very often, but when that happens, I do honor that call. But for you this month, one of the things you might think about, and if you're friends with me on Facebook, you saw me post about this, I have been working with complementary energy streams. In other words, I have been really focusing in my life, and I don't know if it's my age, you know, coming into my middle 40s now, and my goal in my life right now is to be the fullest expression of myself, the fullest authentic version of who I can be and what it is that I think I'm meant to do on this planet right now. And so one of the things I've been asking myself candidly is, where do I need to get better? You know, where am I soaring and where am I challenged right now? And in those challenge areas, what I identify as my challenge areas, and I don't know about you, but I'm my own worst critic, so I can make you an alphabetized list of the things that I need to work on, and I'm sure you could do the same for me. One of the things I do in my life is I look around and I say, okay, if I want to grow in this particular area, whether it's I want to grow in generosity, or I want to grow in happiness, or I want to grow in peace, or I want to grow in tolerance, or whatever it is that you want to practice that you don't feel like you're really skilled at right now, what I have been doing recently is thinking about who role models that for me, and I have been trying to connect to their energy stream around that. And I'll talk more about this, by the way, when we meet, if you're interested. We have lots of things to talk about in Sabbatical this month, but we also kind of do this like Pathfinder thing where we go in different directions sometimes. It might seem like a digression, but it ends up leading us somewhere really interesting. And by the way, I think that's part of the reason that Sabbatical exists. You know, I think when we're too firm on our path and we're too rigid with, okay, we're here to do this and we're going to study this and we're going to explore this, I think when we don't leave space to play a little bit, then the digressions or what seems like a distraction doesn't happen, doesn't take us down those little rabbit holes, and I think it's important to follow those sometimes. So this could be a rabbit hole for us. But I have been trying to look around my life and say, who could be a good teacher for me of that? this thing I want to get better at. And one of the things I really admired recently in my life, personally, did show up in the form of a person, actually showed up in the form of a parent of a friend of mine. So this woman is in her 70s. But when I looked around my life and I thought, who really embodies the most beautiful grace, like elegant, embodied grace? Somebody who hasn't had a super easy life, but still really believes in the best of human kindness and the human condition, and is genuinely benevolent, like, and genuinely open and available to people, even though she's been through a lot. And this person came to mind. I don't know her very well, but I started to, with intention, sort of connect with her energetically. You know what's funny is, as soon as I started kind of like, I think of it as like pulling my car up next to that person. Like, here she is driving in her life and her energy stream, and I sort of just cruise up alongside. I'm not getting into her energy field or like steamrolling over her, but I'm just sort of like, I'm aligning. Literally, that's what it felt like. It's just like, oh, here's her beautiful energy stream, and she's just moving through the universe, and I am just sort of nesting alongside her. And as soon as I did that with some intention, and it's funny because you can't do that, in my experience, with someone whose energy is unavailable to you. You know what I mean? Like, in my experience, if you're feeling called to pull your car up next to someone energetically, it's usually because they kind of want to get their car next to yours too. So sometimes there's a very subtle energetic invitation. In this case, I knew there was, because when I just all of a sudden randomly saw her out of nowhere without planning, and I hadn't seen her in a long time, it was just sort of like, well, there you are. You know what I mean? Like, how beautiful it was to have that affirmation. And I feel like I got to just experience her energy on a more intimate level. And I learned by watching her energy field. It's a very tacit process. It wasn't explicit. There's no give and take necessarily. There's more of an observation and then an alignment. Like, how do I make my energy more that way? To her softness, to her grace, to her, I mean, you know, what I was seeing in this woman was the ultimate in class. Do you know what I mean? Like, somebody who just, she's bathed in a different light. And I don't have a lot of role models for that, because even the people who are spiritual teachers to me sometimes don't model that level of grace. A lot of times they do, but sometimes they don't. And I really was looking for someone to show that to me. And she was what needed to be in that moment. Not all of your teachers will be spiritual teachers. I'm sure you've noticed that. And so anyway, I have felt like I walk a little differently lately. Like, I just have a little bit of that buoyant. I mean, she is kind of, if I could pick someone to be at 70 or 75, that's kind of what I would like to be. And so it was fun for me to sort of zoom next to that for a minute. So the question I leave with you in this uber magical month is, what are you trying to learn? And is there someone who embodies that? And can you kind of pull your energetic car up next to theirs and sort of see where, it was interesting for me to see where I was already in alignment with her, kind of in ways I didn't even really recognize. But that's often the case, right? Because we're so hard on ourselves, we don't realize, oh, I kind of do have some of those qualities already. They just, maybe they were waiting for the moment to be pulled out of me. Do you know what I mean? But I think, in any case, I could digress on that for a long time. But I wonder what qualities you're looking for, is my main question to you. What are you trying to learn this month? There's so much magic around us, and there's so much energy available in the field that I would love to invite you in October to think with intention about one or two people in your life whose energy you want to align with more intentionally, and setting the intention and seeing if it's available to you. Like I said, I think if you're not meant to connect with someone energetically, it won't be available to you. They won't even cross your mind, usually, in my experience. And so if someone comes to you, I bet there's some sort of quid pro quo, you know, where you think you're trying to call them in, but the reality is they're probably trying to call you in too. And you never know. Whoever it is that you're sort of feeling like you want to get better connected to, a lot of times they're probably looking at you and thinking, I would like to learn this from her. I would like to learn that from her. Maybe not just in the etheric realm, you know, in the non-spoken realm, but maybe in 3D, right? Maybe in your real life, you can end up cultivating a friendship or a relationship out of that can be very mutually beautiful and beneficial. So think about what you can learn and how you might align your energy better to receive. It'd be really magical for you this year. All right, well, there's so much ahead this month, so buckle up. You're in the right place. You're going to hear us talking more about some different things this month, like the Sage Goddess affiliate program that is coming, which is going to mean that you will be able to introduce your friends and family to Sage Goddess, and then you'll get cash back for all the purchases that they make with your affiliate code. We're going to be talking more about that, and so stay tuned for that. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions, and I'll be here all month to answer it. The affiliate programs aren't launching until December 1st, and the biggest affiliate program is launching for holistic healers at that time. And so when we gather, I should have a little bit more information for you when we gather for class this month and be able to guide you in terms of whether that might be something that is appropriate for you. And I think a lot of you will be really excited because a lot of you already share Sage Goddess with your friends and family, and so it's kind of nice for me to be able to reward you in that way. And so I'm looking forward to sharing more of the details about that with you as well. We have New Moon Ritual this month, Full Moon Ritual this month, Samhain Ritual this month, Gemwise, Arrow Magic. We have a bonus session on Gemstone Skulls happening in Gemwise. If you're in there, that's going to be really fun. The rune classes are starting. So there's so much ahead of us this month. Like I said, just buckle up. We have Elder Council as our magical sabbatical session this month that I think you're going to really enjoy, and I will be getting you ready for that very, very soon here. So May, October, all of it from start to finish should be a blessing for you. I hope the turn of season has ushered you into this new beautiful space of autumn here in the Northern Hemisphere in a beautiful way. I hope you're enjoying the crisper days and the little bit longer nights. It's subtle. It hasn't really happened or hit us yet, has it? But that it is on the way. Soon it'll be the holidays, and so I hope you're enjoying this little brief respite before all of the major energy of October and November and December is underway. To that. Thank you for being here, my sisters, especially some of you are new, so I just want to welcome you. I think you're in the right place at the right time. Everything happens in sabbatical, and this is kind of our most, sacred container. There are no off-topic conversations. There are no dumb questions. You have a group of women here who are very gifted, just like you, and so you'll learn from them as well as from me, and I learn from all of you all the time. So I want to just thank you for being present to this experience. It's my pleasure and my blessing to be able to hold this container for all of us. So I hope you're excited about the magic ahead. I will see you soon at all of our events, at our classes, and in our Facebook group. Welcome to October. I can't wait to get started, and much more to come. Take care. With love from my heart to yours.